That's heavy.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man. And you know, the funny thing is that I've learned to overcome it, and I've had a much I'm much more empowered to be myself now.
Well, I admire that.
Oh no, it's cool, dude. Let me tell you, it took a long time.
I'm begging anybody out there, before you go and get surgery, before you walk into these hair clubs to someplace, I'm telling you right now, I am $20,000 in the hole, and 10 years of stress, the last 3, an absolutely horrifying existence of stress and pain. And I can promise you, the stress of this hairpiece is 1,000 times more than I would have ever felt if I had just been confident with who I am, dealt with the fact that these are the cards I've been dealt, and deal with them, and just shave my head. And honestly, like Spencer said, not everyone's there, but that's where I'm at.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who! Who do I trust? Me!
And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality?
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. It's the Bald Show. Here we are, another Tuesday night, doing it live from Los Angeles and, of course, from Vancouver, British Columbia. Say hi to our my trusty sidekick, the second in command. Hold on, where's your sound, dude?
My sound.
There it is.
Should be right here.
All right. Mic on.
See, now I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Thanks for the intro.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
This thing on?
Yeah. Joe Tillman, the original hair transplant mentor, live from our studios in Vancouver, British Columbia. I am, of course, in Los Angeles, California, in TBT Studios 2 in Beverly Hills. Want to welcome everyone. My voice is a little hoarse today. Don't know what's going on, but otherwise I feel fucking fantastic. Things are good. Life is good. The hair loss world sucks, but what we're trying to do is fix that. A lot of great things happening, I think, this year, as far as helping to guide you guys in a safer direction when it comes to everything and anything hair loss. We'll, continue to get a lot of pushback in doing what we're trying to do, but I will tell you that our downloads for The Bald Truth have gone up tremendously, and I haven't even put up a new fucking show on on iTunes in a while, and more people are downloading the old stuff, which is great.
They want to go. They're trying to compare what we're saying today to what we used to say several years ago.
Yeah, or maybe
they're looking for consistency.
Maybe it's the bad guys, because there's a lot of them. Even if there's 20,000 of them, I believe it.
Hey, as long as they're watching and downloading, that's all that matters to me.
Anyway, guys, phone number 888-659-3727. We are the hair loss guys. I know that sounds corny. I don't even like saying it, but it's true. That's what we do. I've been doing this for a little over 20 years. I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association, the author of The Bald Truth and the Truth About Women's Hair Loss, also the founder of the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. Joe is a 9-time hair transplant loser.
I was gonna say, don't say it like it's a badge of honor.
He's a 2-time loser and a 7-time winner. Let's put it that way.
Well said.
His experience as a 2-time loser is why he's here today. He went on to find through the luck of God, I guess, his repair surgeon, who is Dr. Jerry Wong, of course, IAHRS accepted member, went on to then work in the field, in the trenches, seeing patients day in and day out for, what, 15 years?
Close. Close. It was...
rounded up or rounded down, whatever.
Actually, it was 11 years in official capacity talking to patients, meeting patients.
Okay. A long fucking time.
Fucking time.
And we are two guys who know where all the bodies are buried when it comes to this industry. If you want to know who the drug addicts are, if you want to know who the fucked up technicians are, the guys who have been arrested for methamphetamines, the guys that amphetamines. I sound like my father. Let him rest in peace. The sexual deviants, just the out and out just bad dudes who are out there ripping you off. We know who they are. We also know who all the good guys are. Sadly, there's just a few, a couple of handfuls of really good guys in this industry.
Oh,
so,
I will interrupt and say that list on both sides of the coin is growing. More bad guys and some more good guys that we're still learning about.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm not going to contradict you completely. A lot more bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
More good guys that we're learning about, but some of the good guys that were once good guys are no longer good guys.
Are no longer good guys, exactly.
And they're still on people's short lists if you read, deep into the inner webs of this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they are no longer the good guys. And that's fucked up to learn. But that's what's happening. And I think the reason that's happening is because there's so much pressure for these guys to compete against the bad guys that they are just like, you know what? We're going to go along to get along in order to make sure that we can take care of our kids' tuition and our insane mortgages and our Bentleys, which we don't need.
And our mistresses.
And our Ferraris that we can't pay for. And our mistresses that we shouldn't... that
we
I
shouldn't be telling Joe and Spencer about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I think that's a reasonable expense, but you don't need.
It's certainly an understandable expense.
You don't need 2 Bentleys. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, sometimes I question one Bentley. It's like, why not a Maybach?
I saw a really dope Maybach downstairs actually yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Insane car. It had a retractable top, not a hardtop convertible, just the back, like an old 1930s car.
Oh wow!
Where it was just the back that was a convertible.
Okay.
Fucking bizarre.
Was this like an S-Class converted?
This is an S-Class Maybach.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the biggest one that I've ever seen, and it was ridiculous.
I think they stretch them. Some of the models of the Maybach, they'll actually stretch the big S-Class, the 600. I think they'll stretch it out to be even bigger.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Since I've been a relatively young man, I've always enjoyed cars.
Oh yeah.
That's just, I've been fortunate enough to earn the ability to drive nice cars. However, there's a limit. And I think that, you have to be a little bit, no matter how much money you make in this world, I believe in kind of like understated elegance, or, I'd rather have a higher performance vehicle than something that may be more expensive and more... What's the word?
Exclusive?
I would say vulgar.
Obscene?
Obscene.
I like obscene.
Yeah. I mean, I know guys, especially in my neighborhood, who drive these obscenely vulgar examples of wealth for no reason. Once you reach a certain level, you don't fucking need it.
Well, it just becomes silly.
Dude, it's fucking waste. It's a big waste of money. You put that money away, get yourself some, 2-year, 3-year CDs. Interest rates going up right now.
Here's where the stupid money is. Okay, in the neighborhood I live in, it's the greater Vancouver area in general is extremely infiltrated by mainland Chinese money, and
a lot of Lambos.
It's nothing. It is nothing. If I see a Ferrari 458, it's like, another one. Yeah. And what kills me is they all have in Canada, you have this sticker on the back for new drivers that just got their license.
Oh, these are children. Yeah,
it's an in sticker, and they're all children. Yeah. They're all like 19-year-old kids driving, $400,000 cars.
Yeah, and
higher.
In the place in Calabasas, I'm not even going to say who it is. A 17-year-old girl owns the house is worth probably about $4.5 million.
Yeah.
Right across the street, and drives a pink, and this isn't wrapped. This is painted.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure it's not wrapped?
A pink 911. Was it a 4S?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking ridiculous. But anyway, guys, this is the Hair Loss Show. We're just we're vamping a little bit. Phone number 888-659-3727. We are live as usual on the Guys from Queens Network, thebaldtruth.com, Stitcher Radio, iTunes Radio, Joe Tillman's personal YouTube page, the Hair Transplant Mentor, Joe Tillman's Hair Transplant Mentor YouTube page. You can hear us on iHeartRadio. You can watch us on Roku, and I know there are guys right now who are, which if you are watching us on Roku, I'm curious to know how the video is, because we're trying to send 1080p, and I'm not sure how it looks on the really big screen. I could watch it on my monitor, which is a 20, I think this is 20 inches, which it looks very clean, but I'd like to know what you guys think if you're watching it on like a 50-inch television. Phone number is 888-659-3727. Let's get right to the phones. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Jesse calling from Hermosa Beach.
Jessa from Jessa. Jesus. Sorry.
Jesse?
Jesse from Hermosa Beach. How are you,
Jesse.
man?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're okay. Apparently, I'm wearing the same color shirt as Joe, and I forgot that he wears the same fucking shirt every week.
You guys planned it.
Smells like it, too.
So what's up, man? What can we do for you?
Nothing. I'm just checking in. Wanted to report a good result with Dr. Dauer last week. I had a FUE. Everything went pretty good.
Awesome. Okay.
Very cool.
So let's talk, first of all, let's get your age, your Norwood classification. Do you know approximately where you are on the Norwood scale?
So I think I'm about a 3, like a very low 3. The forelock's really intact, and there's pretty high recession in the temple areas. But other than that, just a little bit of thinning in the forelock, and that's about it.
Okay, so you're 25 years old. About I'm sorry, say that again?
29.
Oh, 29. Okay, that's a more reasonable age in my mind.
I thought I heard 21. I thought, there's something wrong here.
First, I thought I heard 25, and I still think that's young. But 29 is, you are really at the point where I think, okay, if you are Norwood 3 at 29, you're a reasonable candidate for a hair transplant for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been losing my hair since I was about 19 years old. I first started noticing it. So it's been a very slow recession. I started on thin about 5 years ago, and it's pretty much almost came to a halt once I started on the finasteride. But I'm still seeing a little bit of thinning in the forelock. So I actually recently upped my dosage to 2.5 daily. It's been about a couple months now. So.
Okay, and how are you reacting besides positively? Having any adverse side effects at all?
The only thing I noticed is I think think Joe or someone mentioned this on the podcast one time that they weren't shooting Spider-Man webs anymore. So I think that's my only adverse factor.
No more shooting ropes. Yeah, listen, it's not a big deal, dude. I don't know why everyone wants to shoot fucking ropes. You know?
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal at all, but people complain about that. To me, if it feels the same, and
I think
go ahead.
I think people might feel they're becoming infertile or something like that, which I don't think is the case.
No, you're just producing less seminal fluid.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
you're going to have to
sterility.
Yeah, and sperm count.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're doing well on finasteride. That's great. It's always good to hear. You just had a transplant when? A week ago?
6 days.
6 days. All right. Tell me about your experience. You said you went to Dr. Marc Dauer.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really good. Everything was great. So he quoted me at between 1,100 to 2,000 grafts. So I mean, obviously, I wanted more grafts because who doesn't want more hair, you know? But I'm glad he went on the lighter side. We ended up at 1,105 grafts. So the hairline, he really packed it in, packed the grafts in tight. He did. I've never seen this before, but he like kind of inflated the frontal scalp with saline, so he could pack more.
Yeah, he tumesced the hairline for density.
Yeah, essentially the way that it works is you tumesce that area, and it's just like, think of a balloon, and you blow up a balloon, and you put little dots on that balloon, and then when that balloon deflates, then those dots are closer together.
Sure, makes total sense.
Yeah, a lot of docs still don't get that for some reason.
Yeah, it's really cool because I looked it up afterwards. And I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. But because I went to the bathroom right after he inflated it.
Oh man,
and I'm like,
you're a freak show. Yeah.
You're like, I'm a Klingon.
Yeah.
A reptilian. Yeah.
It's not a good look initially, but yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on the 20 of Valium. I didn't really care at the time because I had the Valium in my system. So.
It's a great conversation starter at the bars, though.
You see, yeah, you certainly would have cared if you called us today and you still had that swelling. But go ahead.
So anyway, so he did the 1,100 grafts. So when when the surgery was over and I came home, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I wish he came down a little lower. I wish he did this, and then now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm so glad he was conservative because I'd rather him be conservative than go too far down, and then who knows, I recede fast for these next couple of years or whatever, and now I don't have enough left to cover the area behind it.
Well, dude, another thing about
you can't go back up.
Is that once that tumescence reduces and all the fluids from having all the, the edema that builds up from having all these tiny trauma points in your scalp, once all that dissipates and reabsorbs into your body, the hairline actually looks a little bit lower than it does right after your surgery. Did you notice that?
No, you know what? The swelling came down almost immediately. I had pretty much no swelling at all after the surgery.
Okay.
So yeah.
But how long did these? Okay, so you had tumescence, and that usually dissipates shortly after, like within a few hours, depending on how your body processes it. But you had no swelling whatsoever after the fact, like even a few days?
No, even the tumescence. When I went home and I looked in the mirror, it was like I was, I looked the same as before the surgery, except I had a bunch of holes in my head.
You processed it quickly then, so that's good. That's good. It's less of a shock factor when you're looking in the mirror the day after, asking yourself, "What the hell did I just do?" So that's good.
Well, here's the thing. I like the fact that, I don't mean to cut you off. I like the fact that he chose to be a little bit more conservative, or as some doctors would say, appropriate, especially at your stage. You're still only 29 years old. You don't know where you're going to progress, even though you are on finasteride, which is great. It's still possible to progress further. Once that hairline is placed, it's placed. And one of the worst things guys have to go through is trying to move a hairline up. And
Sure.
we had a guy who called us last week, who's called a couple of times, who has had to deal with that issue. And that's a big issue. You're wasting a percentage of your finite donor area. Most of that hair, while it can be removed and then replaced, usually what they'll do is they'll laser it off. Yeah. And you don't want to be in that position. Much better to say, you know what, this year I might want to bring my hair down, another centimeter. And you could always do that in the future. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm already thinking, like, next year, once this is all finalized, I'm thinking I want to come down lower, but it's like, it's just the greediness talking, So that's why I'm glad Dr. Dauer, because again, if, a patient goes into the office, of course they're going to want their hairline as low as possible, as much hair as possible. And I'm glad Dr. Dauer is more on the conservative side rather than just giving in, to whatever I would have wanted.
Well, you have to understand, besides him, taking an oath for first do no harm, which sadly in this industry, it's really turned into show me the money in most cases. He doesn't want you coming back bitching and being unhappy. It doesn't help him in any way. It only affects his life and potentially his livelihood. So any really smart physician is going to say, you know what? This is what this guy needs. I'm going to give him the best possible advice so he has the best possible outcome. Sure, I could sell him another 1,000 grafts, but I'm not going to, because if he's a candidate in another year, he's going to come back to me. That's the smart move. A lot of guys don't do that.
I look at it like this. It's playing the long game for the maximum benefit for the patient, which winds up being the maximum benefit for the doctor as well, because I said this in the previous broadcast, that I've yet to hear of someone that complains of the procedure being too dense, but I've heard plenty of people complain about it being too low, and complications that result from being too aggressive, and all these other complications that can arise from not taking the long road or not having the long plan for how to approach patient care and the procedure itself. So it really does benefit everyone involved if you don't rush it, if you keep the long game in mind when you do something like this.
Yeah, definitely. If you want, you can check out. I have pictures. I posted them on. I don't know if you guys go on Reddit, the subreddit Trestless.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool. You should take some time and post it, because since Dr. Dauer is with the IAHRS, maybe post some pictures on Bald Truth Talk, and let some.
Well, I figured I'd post those when everything was said and done, type deal.
Oh yeah, listen. You post wherever you want to post. So just a suggestion. And, I'm glad that, again, you're a week out. It's kind of like, it's an interesting time. For some guys, this is the, oh, fuck, what did I do stage.
Yeah.
For some guys, it is the honeymoon stage, because they're like, the experience was so good. From walking into the office, from sitting down with the physician, from the experience with the technicians, the front, the front office staff and all that stuff. They have a lot of great things to say. And then in 6 months, they're freaked out because their hair transplant doesn't look good. That normally does not happen with Marc Dauer. So I have a feeling you're going to be pretty happy.
Cool. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, and the techs are another thing. Like, they were amazing in his office. They were just really on the ball and just very quick with everything. And I don't know how much they get paid, but I'm wondering if it's like the same as a nurse salary type deal. Because I feel like because they were doing the the lidocaine, the septicaine injections and stuff like that. So it's really cool what kind of a job they have.
Well, I can tell. Well, some of them are techs, and some of them are going to be PAs, and you may have actually had an RN if you're getting injected with anesthetic.
I asked her if she was an RN, and she said she wasn't. I forget what she said she was. But
she could be a PA. She's probably a PA. So, but yeah, this guy does everything by the book. So you're not gonna have a technician injecting you with lidocaine. But the good news is, I think he pays his techs a lot of money, so they stay with him. And
I know from experience that some technicians that didn't even like just basic technicians off the street, once they have enough experience, they can make more than an RN.
Yeah.
Because a good clinic will value their good technicians and treat them like gold, so they don't go someplace else and take their knowledge with them and their experience.
Sure, because I mean they're a big part of the process. You know, I mean they're doing the microscope work, correct?
They're doing microscope work. They're doing the separation. They're doing just standard assistance during the procedure, which is oddly enough, it's difficult to find good technicians that can understand when the doctor needs their input and their help. I've seen some clinics where, you know, there's almost like this mind connection, this mental connection where there's nothing being spoken at all, no words. They just know when to jump in and even assist the doctor with some sort of complicated, like tying sutures is an art form in and of itself. Some doctors will do it by themselves completely with their forceps. Other times a technician will stick in and they, you know, metaphorically stick their finger on the knot to tie the loop. A lot more complicated than that. But it's really amazing to see some of these teams work together.
Well, I can tell you one thing that I think was forgotten is they're handling your fucking, you know, tissue. They're handling every organ that is being transplanted back into your scalp. That alone, these people really have to know what they're doing. There's so many graft handling issues, crush issues, just inappropriate ways to handle grafts. If these people don't know what they're doing, and if they're not really careful, the results of your transplants are gonna, they're not gonna be great.
Right.
And no one even talks about it. It's such a critical step.
Sure. I mean, even in the OR, I'm a nurse, but I'm not in the OR. But I mean, even in the OR, nurses really don't have, as much hands-on time as these techs do in the transplant room.
Listen, we call it time on tissue, and a good technician has many, many, many hours of time on tissue. And if they don't, and that's why it is so important that you know who these technicians are. You ask how long they've been working with a particular physician, how long they've been in the field, when did they perform or when were they part of their first hair transplant.
Yeah.
If they say 6 months ago, yeah, they could be good. But you really would prefer someone with more experience, if possible.
If they say, what am I supposed to tell them? That's a problem.
Yeah. If they say, well, I was answering phones last week, which is not a joke.
Yeah.
That has happened.
But that's the other thing, though. I mean, in order to gain experience, the only way to do it is to practice on patients. So it's like kind of that whole medical conundrum where, residents, they may not be great, but they have to learn somehow. So it's like,
no, listen, I agree. We want our listeners and the people that watch this program to ask the right questions. And for me,
sure.
I would want to know exactly what the technician's experience is, how long they've been working for a particular physician with this team. And frankly, if 2 out of 4 technicians have only been performing surgery for a week, I'd probably go someplace else. But that's me.
Yep.
True.
But I understand what you're saying. You're right. I mean, they have to learn somehow. I'd rather them not learn on me, though.
And I think I think it's a fair approach because there are hospitals and there are teaching hospitals where you go to a teaching hospital. If you know anything about this, that you're going to be seen by med students that are still learning, and this is disclosed to you. But when you go to a hair transplant clinic, you don't really get that information up front, and you just don't know. So I think it's important to know who's working on you and what their experience is. Sure.
I actually like teaching hospitals, though, because if I were a patient, I would want to go to a teaching hospital because you get the medical student, you get the resident, and you get the attending. So there's always someone coming in checking up on you, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being that you are a nurse and you're in the profession. You know what to look for, and the fact that you're calling in with a positive story about your good experience with Dr. Dauer, I mean that speaks volumes to me.
Sure.
So I'm really happy for you.
Well, it really was because of you guys that I even found all this, this entire world, and I was able to navigate my way through it with any kind of sensibility. Because I feel like if I was just doing it on my own, I might have ended up at a Bosley or something like that, and really not had any idea. So, you guys are a critical aspect to the whole industry.
Well, listen, man, I really appreciate that. I'm going to use that as a sound bite, and it's going to be played over and over again. You gave me permission to use that just by calling the show, so there you go.
I expect like a 50-cent cut every time it's used.
All right, man, listen, thank you so much for the call. Keep us abreast of your situation. If you have any questions, concerns, if you, God forbid, run into any issues that you're unclear on, feel free to call us.
Will do. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Hey, phone number 888-659-3727. Is my volume low or is it good? It seems okay on my board, but it could be my headset.
It seems okay.
Okay. All right, guys. 888-659-3727. Let's take a phone call. Hey, you are on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello. Hey, man. What's up? I'll give you another second before we take another call. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yeah, hey.
There he is.
What's up, man? I think you may be having trouble with your phone. I'll give you another second. If you could say hello, I'll take your call.
Nope.
All right, man, you're going to have to call back. Phone number is 888-659-3727. It's interesting that this guy decided to, and this guy's a medical professional. He would have just, like he said, he may have just ended up going to a chain clinic, even though he's a fucking nurse, if he didn't find us.
That's the power of the show, man. I love that. The information we're putting out there is helping even medical professionals find the right answer for them. I like it.
Jesus, that was so corny. 888-659-3727. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. Let's see who this is.
Make up your mind.
You're on the air, man. Who's this? Hello.
How's it going?
Okay, how are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sonoma County.
Well, what's your name, man? Welcome.
Justin.
Justin, what's up?
Not much, man. I'm just been listening to your show while I'm driving around doing my sales calls, and I find it quite fascinating.
What are you selling?
I sell booze.
Dude.
Right on, brother.
You've come to the right place.
I almost had that exact job years ago in another life.
Nice. I'm actually from Vancouver, Canada, too, so that's kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Well, if you happen to sell Kokori Japanese whiskey, let me know. Because I can definitely use a discount.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just calling because, recently, I'm 38 now. My hair has been pretty much part of my life. I love my hair. Hair is awesome, But recently, it's just starting to look not so hot on the top and a little receding. So I don't know if you guys know about that HIMS thing going on right now.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So, signed up for that about a month and a half ago.
So you need
$5 box.
You know what that is, right?
Finasteride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had to do the on the little photos and all that with the doctor.
Okay, well, good, because there's a lot of confusion out there. A lot of guys contact us, and they're contacting us now through the American Hair Loss Association, and they're concerned about using Propecia or Proscar, and then they ask about HIMS. And we have to explain that it's the same drug. It's just the generic form of Propecia.
They're pretty good about explaining it to you.
Yeah, and I actually think that's great. I think that a company like this, and there's another couple of companies out there that are doing this, may bring finasteride back it may get guys to really understand that this is a drug that can truly help them and hopefully take away some of the stigma. So I'm all for HIMS.
Yeah. So they give you the little $5 introductory box. You get the amoxicillin, and then you get the biotin, the shampoo, and the finasteride. I decided not to go with the topical because that seems like a lot of work. I'm not a fan of the topical, not their particular topical, but I'm a fan of starting one agent at a time, and it's usually finasteride. Yeah, and that's the advice that you guys kind of got from your guys' show, just because you want to see what works, right? So, yeah, it's been going pretty good. No side effects, really. The morning wood seemed a little off for a couple of days, but other than that, it's been pretty good. So.
Yeah, and that can happen. It could be transient, but if it only happened for a couple of days, then you're going to be fine, dude. I mean, I listen. We're not doctors, but just based on all the experience that we have, I mean, if that's the only thing that you noticed, chances are you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and it's maybe just because I was actually wanting to think about it too, like noticing in the morning. I never thought about morning wood in the morning. It's either there or not. Right?
How old are you?
38.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's hit or miss anyway at 38. That's the way it is.
No, like I'm not like fully bald, but just a lot of miniaturization. Probably.
Well, if you were fully bald, I'm hoping that HIMS would not sell you their product because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for you.
No. I'm just people probably don't even notice, but I notice. So it's more of like after the shower and stuff like that. So.
Well, look, we are fans of early intervention. The reason I'm behind this microphone, the reason I was published, the reason I started this entire insane career is because I was lucky enough to find finasteride early in my hair loss process, and if I didn't, the chances are I would have been significantly bald at this point. So we're talking well over 2 decades of being on the drug. So
yeah. My brother, he's been balding for longer than me. He's only 2 years older than me, but he shaves his head, and we look alike. And I'm like, I do not want to look like my brother. The two head grows. So I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. Well, hopefully it helps out.
Well, listen. So how long has it been? A month? You said, or a week?
Month and a half.
A month and a half. Okay, and you probably haven't noticed any positive results yet. I mean, but as long as you haven't noticed,
I swear it's kicking in. I swear it's kicking in the front here. I got some little weird hair starting to do some things.
Well, I will tell you. In my personal experience, I actually started to notice significant results in 3 months, which was unusual. Which is unusual. So, but there are other guys throughout my 20-some-odd year career who've contacted me and have said that they've experienced something that they believe was positive within a month or two. It's unlikely, but I guess it can happen.
Okay.
So.
Cool. Right on.
So
I thought I'd call in, say thanks for the advice, and you guys are awesome. It's a fun show to listen to. Not just about hair loss, just about, guy stuff.
Well, dude, listen, I wish you the best of luck. Keep us abreast of the situation, and, I have a feeling you're going to do pretty well.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
Good luck. Take care.
All right.
All right, bye.
888-659-3727. I was actually talking to somebody today about HIMS, and that's exactly what I said. I think that these companies, especially since they are being, you may not know exactly what it is when you watch a commercial.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're having, online prescriptions done, doctors are telling these patients what the drug is. It may breathe new life into finasteride use. And I can already tell because they're advertising everywhere.
I hope it does, because I think that, you and I both believe that it's gotten such a bad rap because of this. The guys that do have side effects are the ones that get on top of the mountain and scream the loudest, scaring the living shit out of everyone else that wants to consider it, preventing them from taking it.
Right.
And I think I understand. Trust me, I really understand when people are having side effects and they want to warn others. But at the same time, it's scaring others that may not, most likely, will not have those side effects from even considering it and losing out on the potential benefits. And so I hope that this can, maybe help erase some of that.
Well, there's another company called I want to say Prevent, but it's not Prevent. It's they actually use something.
Sounds like an STD company.
Oh, jeez, it's a good company. What is the name?
Prevent.
God, I forget the name. Anyway, they do quote the American Hair Loss Association on their website. It is funny that HIMS, in all of the commercials, they say, did you know that 66% of men by the age of 35 begin to lose their hair?
Gee, where'd that come from?
They should give us an attribution. I would say, at the very least, guys from HIMS, if you're listening, you should give the American Hair Loss Association an attribution. We are a nonprofit, so it would be wonderful just to say, hey, this is where we got this information, and this is where
Show the love.
This is where the rest of the world gets that information. But it's not a big deal. What are you going to do?
As long as it's there, I mean, it's valuable information.
Absolutely.
That's what really matters. But still, it'd be nice.
I would like some credit.
Because you don't get enough, that's for sure.
Phone number is 888-659-3727. It's funny because talking about getting attributions, I was asked about something specific online, and I was looking up how many times we were referenced just this month alone. Now, it's June 5th. In the month of June, we've been referenced by Reader's Digest, by I think Refinery 29, which is a big blog. I know some other big blogs, and I think Today.com. That's in 5 days. More and more. I mean, there's more and more hair loss stories that are popping up in the mainstream media. I'm noticing, and I think what's her name? God, where's my mind? Will Smith's wife.
Jada Pinkett
Smith talked about her hair loss. Now, we still don't know what she's dealing with. Is she dealing with androgenetic alopecia? Is she dealing with alopecia areata? There are some articles that are talking about having cortisone and other hormone injections in the scalp, or that she had to have this done. Is she just going from quack to quack?
Cortisol or cortisone?
Cortisone.
Okay.
Is she going from quack to quack to quack like most people do, trying to treat her hair loss? I have to figure that out.
Be interesting to find out.
Give her a call.
I'd like to know.
Give her a call.
Hold on.
Hey, Jada, listen, this is Joe from The Bald Truth. We had a question for you.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on speakerphone.
Guys, phone number 888-659-3727. Again, we do the live show. If we're live, you call us. If the phones don't ring, we go home. It is a beautiful night here in Los Angeles. I would love to go out, have some wine, go someplace and sit outside and just chill. So we'll stay on the air for a couple more minutes, but if we don't get phone calls, we're going home. 888-659-3727. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? It's David Dennison from Washington, D.C.
Hey, David. What's happening, man?
David?
From Washington, D.C. Things are good. How are you guys doing?
We're good. Do me a favor. Turn down your computer or your iPhone or whatever you're listening to the show on.
Or your car stereo.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Turned it off.
So what's happening? What can we do for you?
Well, listen, I wanted to give you guys an update on what was going on. I'm about 3 weeks into my TRT program.
That's right.
Okay.
I think I remember your phone call.
Yeah, a lot of guys were asking even after that about TRT and the effects and stuff like that. I know I was in that predicament for 6 months, not knowing how I was going to feel. how the process is. So I just wanted to kind of, you know, give you the information I got from the doctors and how I feel.
Great.
Okay.
So, first of all, I would not give this up for anything. This is TRT is absolutely incredible. Within the first, I was alleviated about 80% of my brain fog symptoms. And I know you actually had a doctor call in, I think about a month and a half ago. He was dealing with brain fog and things of that nature. I'm telling you, TRT solved it for me. So any guys out there that has brain fog issues, and you check your testosterone levels, you're anything sub 400, you know, TRT is the way to go to fix that.
Interesting. So you were taking finasteride, having brain fog issues, started your TRT therapy 6 months ago, and the TRT therapy cleared that up.
Yes, it did. And actually, with the research I've done and the doctors I've talked to, I almost put this whole finasteride, post-finasteride system to bed, in my eyes, in my personal opinion. And this is after 2 years. Mm-hmm. Now, there's 3 main doctors in America that are the leading doctors when it comes to hormone replacement therapy. It's Dr. Rand, Dr. Chrysler, and Dr. Saya. Okay? I would say 2 out of 3 are not really for Propecia. One of them is completely fine with him, and he's Dr. Rand. And what he says is he doesn't believe in post-finasteride syndrome. What he says was that people around 30, you know, the range between 29 to 38, that kind of range, you're already lowering the amount of testosterone in your level just naturally. And what kind of Propecia does is may just kick them over the edge a little bit. But what he's finding is that he has about 10,000 patients we're talking about. I like to deal with particularly people that deal in the trenches like you guys. That's why I like listening to you guys. You guys deal with the trenches. That's why I like them, because they're in the trenches. Mm-hmm. So what he says is that, you know, out of his 10,000 patients, you know, there's only like a few that have post-finasteride syndrome and what's so-called post-finasteride syndrome, but, you know, after adjusting their dose of testosterone, they haven't had any problems at all.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. There are several doctors that I know who are prescribing TRT for guys who are on finasteride, and it all seems to be the exact same response. Guys who believed or guys who may have had some sort of adverse effects while on finasteride, once they start the TRT, and if they're going to a doctor who understands how to administer the right levels and measure the right levels, they seem to be fine. Now, my problem is this. I have no adverse side effects from finasteride that I'm aware of. I have been able to save a lot of hair, and I'm 53 years old. But I know how fucking jacked I would be if I got on human growth hormone and TRT. And there's a part of me that's like, I could lose this little extra, you know, pouch here and have a little bit, you know, more hardness and vascularity if I would just replace my hormones. But I'm scared shitless because I don't want to fuck with my hair. So you're kind of you're in a better position because, you know, that wasn't a concern. Your concern was you were having issues. Finasteride was working. You were having issues with finasteride. So you wanted to resolve those issues.
Yeah, I mean, it did come down to priorities with me. I mean, if I had to choose between the low T symptoms versus my hair, I had to resolve the low T issues because the quality of life was terrible with low T. You know, now that I feel better, maybe down the road, you know, I'll see what kind of wigs I could get. If they're nice, if I don't like that, then I could reconsider something else. But, you know, the first part is the health. But, you know, what I would advise anybody out there to do, it's just my personal opinion. My personal opinion is, you know, I mean, there's 2 guys. There's sub 40, if you're under 40 or you're above 40. So if you're under 40, I would say before starting any finasteride, Propecia, which I am a proponent of, by the way, even though I don't take it at this moment, but I am a promoter of it. I would say get your blood work done. Do not, because Propecia is hormone. You're doing hormone replacement therapy. They give it to I think, guys that are trying to become women. This is like a serious thing right now. I would never, if I had to do it over again, I would never consider doing Propecia without getting my testosterone levels done, my estrogens level completed, my sex binding globulin levels checked. You have to go through the gamut. And also, I would not go under the care of a primary care physician because they don't know shit about anything except for giving antibiotics. So I would go to like a TRT specialist or hormone specialist that would say, have him monitor your, this is if you're scared, monitor your progress to see how you're doing and then do blood work pre and post. And I would not consider doing it any other way, ever. Not even think about it, because Propecia it's a hormone. You're going to get side effects. I don't believe that people that say
well,
I don't have any side
I'm going to tell you,
effects.
Propecia is not a hormone. Propecia actually...
hormone therapy.
Well, what it is it's a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. So it basically inhibits the enzyme that converts testosterone into testosterone. So it blocks the conversion of a byproduct of testosterone. The reason they give it to transgenders is in part to help with their estrogen replacement if they are dealing with higher levels of DHT, but they don't necessarily give it to all transgender patients. So it's not hormone replacement per se, but you're right, it does act on your hormones. And you could have aromatizing effects, and you could have all types of different hormonal effects once you block that enzyme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And, the people that say, but DHT is a derivative of testosterone. So, and testosterone is the most powerful things in the male body. So the people that tell me that, well, I take Propecia and I have no side effects, I just have a hard time believing them, because when you're going through that and you're taking Propecia, sometimes it's hard to even identify what the side effects are, because you're kind of going through brain fog. You're going through these, it's hard. I personally right now, I'm keeping a journal of my therapy, how I feel every day.
Let me interrupt just a second. Did you comment on my YouTube channel earlier today about this subject?
No.
Because there's someone that commented on one of my videos saying almost identically what you're saying about how you can't believe that some people that say they don't have side effects don't actually have side effects, that they just don't realize they're having side effects. And so I had to ask that. It's cool if it wasn't you, but I just had to ask because just the coincidence was uncanny.
Oh, no. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because right now, as I'm going through my TRT process, I'm doing a journal of how I feel. And if I didn't do this journal, I'm going through back to the pages, I probably wouldn't be able to identify how I'm feeling, how much better I'm feeling than I did in the beginning.
Look, I can tell you this. I've been on the drug for well over 20 years, and it's very possible that I am experiencing side effects that I am unaware of. It's very possible that, there are days where maybe I was down and it was the drug that was causing me to have some depression, or who knows? Or I may have no side effects because I don't notice anything that is, I would say, very obvious, or that seems to be prevalent, or, seems to be ongoing. But I don't know. Like I always say this. I could be diagnosed with some rare form of cancer because I've been on this drug for so long. I don't know what is going to happen down the line. And the same goes for TRT therapy.
Yeah, that is true too. I could drop dead of a heart attack, right, or something like that. That's what they say. It could affect your, cholesterol levels, which at some point,
blood clots, all kinds of things.
Blood clots. I could. But the problem was I was at such a bad state, and I was in that state for almost 2 years. Anything would be better than where I was at.
I can tell you that I probably would have done exactly. I can probably tell you that I would have done exactly what you, or I can tell you that I probably would have done exactly what you've done. If I was in that state, there's no doubt. I mean, listen, I popped a pill that nobody fucking knew about before you can even, I mean, it was in the physician's desk reference for sure for benign prostate hyperplasia, but no one really knew what it would do to young men. And I was willing to do it because I was in such a bad state. So I totally get it, dude. And I do think, I'm like, okay, when am I going to make this happen? When am I going to start potentially thinking about getting on human growth hormone or TRT therapy? Right now, everything seems to be functioning normally. I don't want to fuck with, my body or my hair at this point, but I know, and I've seen the positive results if you are monitored correctly by a physician. So I'm all for it. I just think that, it's like anything else. You have to take responsibility, responsibility for what you put in your body, and understand that, some things seem like a miracle initially, and then down the line they may not be a miracle. And that's how I feel about finasteride. I don't know what's going to happen to me down the line. I'm cautiously optimistic that I'm going to be fine, but who the fuck knows?
Well, as Dr. Rand stated, he has plenty of patients that are on both that are doing well, and the medication works, and they're getting monitored. And that's great. They're getting the best of both worlds, I feel. It's almost safer, in my opinion, my personal opinion, for me. If I could do it again, it would be almost safer for me to get on TRT first and then get on the Propecia, because I feel like if you're on TRT on a certain dose, and it almost protects you from your whole endocrine system shutting down. Which I felt happened to me. I mean, my estrogen levels were even tanked. That's how bad my testosterone levels were. My estrogen levels were tanked.
Well, here's the good news for those who either believe they are suffering with post-finasteride syndrome or who might be actually suffering with post-finasteride syndrome. You are a example of what can be done, and that you can get past this with the right treatment.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. And we're giving there's hope. If anybody's listening, we're giving hope to those guys. And I would like to see that doctor, that called in. I felt so bad for him when he called in. To hear my testimony out of how my symptoms improved dramatically after starting TRT. And I want to emphasize this is the primary care physicians don't know shit about shit.
Right.
Because I went to 4 of them.
I know
that. So I had to find the 3 best doctors in the world and pick one of them to undergo my treatment, because that's what they do every day. So you got to really seek out a professional in this if you want to do it. I don't suggest buying from any kind of black market. I'm under the supervision of a doctor.
Who's your doctor again?
I picked Defy Medical out in Florida. And I'm supervised under Dr. Saya.
Okay.
You talk about a team. They have a team of about 20 people in their administrative and staff, and they have 3 doctors on call. This is an all-star team.
So,
here. And I did all this out of pocket, and I'm completely happy with it.
And Dr. Saya is okay with finasteride.
What does something like this cost? Because if this is prohibitively expensive, then it's kind of useless for anyone else that might want to consider this that doesn't have disposable income.
Yeah, and that's a fair question. I would say the cost of it is about $100 a month, and that doesn't include the test. The test is another, $400 to $500 every 6 months. That's
did you go to Florida to the clinic, or was this like they were guiding you from a distance?
They do telemedicine, so they do it, we're doing it over the phone, but they receive my blood work before, and I would go from, I get my medication sent to me from a compounding FDA-approved pharmacy out of Texas.
Okay.
So
$100 a month isn't actually a big deal for, I would think, a lot of people, but still, it's good to know. I didn't know what it would have cost you, so it's good to know, and I'm not asking for my own needs, but It's just good to know.
Now let me ask you this: Is it TRT therapy? Is it a cream? Is it a gel? Or is it injectable?
Yeah, that's a great question. Studies have shown that the creams have a higher estrogen effect, so that's why I steered away from that because of, hair loss and stuff like that. So I do injections, and I inject 3 times per week, and I do about 150 milligrams a week. Now, guys,
three times a week.
So you're injecting your butt? You're injecting your glutes or into your thigh or your arm?
Subcutaneously. So that's the new thing right now. So it's near the fat in my thigh, the fat in my belly area.
Right.
You do it subcutaneously there. And guys do well between 100 to 200 milligrams per week. I'm at 150 milligrams per week to start off with. And I inject and the reason I do it 3 times is because you don't get the peaks and valleys, obviously. If you're doing it just once a week or twice a week, which other doctors would make you do it, you're going to get these huge peaks and valleys, and you're also going to get these huge estrogen effects as well. So the reason I'm doing it 3 days a week is just because, get that slow peak kind of.
I actually, again, and I'm not a physician, but I agree with, especially when you are dosing yourself with a hormone like testosterone, synthetic testosterone. I am a believer of keeping it consistent and doing it as regularly as possible. When guys are cycling on steroids, and I knew a lot of guys, I was an athlete in high school, a lot of these guys, unfortunately, they were buying it on the black market, whatever it is, and they would take their injections once a week or sometimes once every 2 weeks. And they would go through all types of, you talk about peaks and valleys, you talk about emotional rages, acne. So I saw guys who were 16 years old, I had no idea what it was at the time, going through these tremendous effluviums because they weren't being, watched and monitored by a physician, and they weren't taking it properly. So I agree with you. I think you want to keep those testosterone levels and that flow steady. Otherwise, you can cause yourself some problems. And aromatizing effects are really a big deal, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you. I've known guys who have used creams, and all of a sudden they may be looking bulkier and they may be feeling better, but you're starting to see some gyno happening. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yeah, it's serious. And obviously, before I did this, I did 6 months of extensive research because I was scared. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, unbelievable misconceptions about testosterone, about it'll make you road rage and all this stuff. Well, those guys are doing 1,000 milligrams a week, 2,000 milligrams a week. I'm doing 150, so it's more replacement therapy. And I got to say, it's incredible. This is incredible. The best drug I've ever done in my life is testosterone. Just incredible. It's amazing. Amazing.
Dude, you're fucking selling me on it now.
You should try it. Ask your friend. You said you had a friend that came out to the pool that looked like more. Ask him. You have probably a lot of friends that in the LA area.
I actually have a lot of friends who are on it, and there are physicians that I know who are in this field who are on it. There are plastic surgeons that I know who are on it. There are guys who swear by it, but I'm insane about my hair, man. This is how I feel. It would fuck me up so much more to know that I did something to affect my hair when I wasn't having any real issues to begin with. I just wanted to look better and be leaner. That would bug the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So until I really need it, until I feel I really need it, until for some reason I'm having sexual dysfunction, or if I am completely unable to lose the extra fat, then I'm probably not going to do anything. Frankly, the only reason I would take it is to have maybe a slight boost in energy and to be more jacked, to make my workouts count more than they are right now. Because right now, I'm barely surviving in the gym. That's just the way that it is. I work out. I'm still pretty jacked, but I am not getting the same results that I used to get.
It's catching up.
I'm 53. What am I going to do?
It's not like a drastic effect. It's not. It's almost subtle. Every day, my energy's improving. Every day my mood's improving. Every day my libido's getting better. You know, I mean, whatever makes you a man, you know, that's what testosterone is, you know. And then I think, you know, yeah, I lost my hair, which is terrible, but, you know, a nice body makes up for a lot. You know what I mean? Confidence makes up for a lot. It gives you more confidence because, you know, you're feeling better, you know. But I just wish they would have a cure for hair loss by now. They keep saying 5 to 10 years, but
they do.
I feel like I've been waiting forever.
They have a cure.
They have a cure. They've just been hoarding it so that they can keep selling drugs.
It's on the internet.
I saw David DiMuzio found a cure, right?
Yeah, it's on the internet.
Yeah. It's all right.
No, actually, the cure is shaving your fucking head, moving on, living your life, and fucking taking testosterone replacement and getting jacked. That is the cure.
Well, you know, you guys helped me do that. I really appreciate. I can't thank you guys enough. Really, you guys really. I was really in a low place, depressed place. I started listening to you guys, and you guys started spinning, you know, logic and reason. So I really thank you guys. You know, helping me through this process. And I still listen to you guys. You know.
I appreciate you saying that, but we really need to start a Patreon page so you motherfuckers can pay us a little something. We got to make that happen.
Would you pay $10 a month?
You see,
to help the depression that I've lost all my hair. Yeah, I think I would. You know, because this is the thing. If something legitimate comes out, I know you guys would say it. So I know if you guys say, "Listen, you should try this," then I'm going to try it, even if it costs like $3,000, $4,000, $10,000. But then you got these guys like David DiMuzio and all these punks. They're just catering on depressed guys like that I were like 4 months ago. That's what kind of pisses me off. But, you know, I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing because, you know, when something good comes out, you guys are going to let us know.
Well,
which is awesome.
First of all, we're not going to have to let you know. I'm just being completely honest. I appreciate the fact that you say you would pay $10 a month for this broadcast and that you want to come to. You're going to know as fast as we know. I may get tipped off, but anything that I am told would be embargoed, so I would not be able to put it out there until the press puts it out there. So say Angela Cristiano from Colombia contacted me and said, "Hey, Spence, listen, we got the cure. I'm going to send you the information, but it's embargoed." That means it would be, essentially, I would be breaking, I can, you know, be fined, possibly do jail time. I prefer, probably not, but at least, you know, I would deal some real civil bullshit if I decided to put that information out there if it's embargoed. So chances are you're going to read about it in Time Magazine. You're going to hear about it on national news before it's on this program.
I think Time Magazine is shutting down, so you won't see it on Time Magazine.
Time.com.
Time.com.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal.
But I will tell you this. We will have one fucking hell of a party on this show.
That's right.
So you're not going to want to miss that.
Cool. That would be cool.
Are you guys going to do anything on hair pieces?
What do you want us to do? We'll do something on hair pieces.
I mean, what hair pieces are good? I mean, you know, I'm willing to try it out.
I can tell you this, and guys, we'll take your calls in a second. 888-659-3727. I believe if you're willing to try out hair pieces, now it's hit or miss. You need to just go online. There are websites like coolpiece.com. It's funny because they don't have the greatest website, but they sell really good product. So I think a lot of people may be turned off initially by their website. At least that's some guys who have contacted me have said that. But they're inexpensive. You can buy a stock system for like $185 and just try it. And what I mean by try it is play with it, see what the material looks like, see how it feels on your scalp, use some tape, something that's not going to be bonded on permanently, have it cut in, don't shave your hair, and just see, even if the color doesn't match, it's worth just seeing how it feels and how it could potentially look if you decide to order something custom. Then when you order something custom, it's going to take 6 weeks to maybe 3 months. It could still come out fucked up. But if it comes out good and you know how to finesse it and learn how to work with it, it could look 100% natural. And it really depends on how much hair you need. Do you need a partial system, like do you just have a bald spot? Do you need a complete system?
My crown is gone, kind of like a Norwood 5V.
All right.
The crown is gone.
All right. So here's what's interesting. I mean, there are guys who would completely shave that, whatever's remaining and then throw a hairpiece on there. And then there are those who will use 2 hairpieces, cut to size, and use that island of hair to kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not defray, but kind of like take the eye off of that, that entire hairpiece. Guys who wear a full hairpiece, it kind of grows down the back of their scalp, or it looks like it's growing down the back of their scalp in a straight line. Yeah. You could avoid that by using multiple small pieces. Now, most people aren't willing to do that. That's going to take a lot of work. But when these things are so cheap and you can cut them yourself and you learn how to finesse them, you can do all these different things. So I know that sounds confusing. Most guys are like, I just want to get a hairpiece, have it glued on, and get it cut in and make it look real. That usually doesn't happen. You have to really know how to finesse it.
Yeah, some of the pieces I've seen online or on Instagram, they look pretty incredible. But they have a professional that actually puts it on and cuts it, and that's the whole gig.
Well,
some of them look incredible.
When you get one, you definitely want someone, and you can get a reference from all. There's another company, Hair Direct. There's a lot of companies out there, and they can send you to somebody locally to have the piece cut in. So it could look incredible. The thing is, in order for it to continue to look incredible, you have to know how to maintain it, and that means you don't wait 6 weeks to get this shit removed from your head because A, it's not going to last 6 weeks. The frontal hairline is going to start to, get loose or look dirty. You have to commit to knowing that you're going to have to work with this every few days, even if it's just a little bit, in order for it to look 100% natural. Most guys aren't prepared for that, so they're very disappointed. But if you understand that, you go on these websites,
that seems intensive.
Well, you know what? I mean, all I can tell you is I've seen guys do it online. And it takes them a matter of minutes. Sometimes, 5 to 15 minutes to kind of like touch up their hairpiece or to retack it. Things that you may have to do a couple of times a week if you want to wear hair.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a process, but if you are committed to it, you can look great.
Cool. Yeah, I'll probably end up trying that. Definitely, I'll probably end up trying that.
Well, you let us know, and what color hair do you have, by the way?
Black hair.
Is it black?
I mean, it's black. Yeah.
Okay, well then, you're going to be easy match.
Yep.
Yeah, if you got black hair, then that's the easiest.
Because it's tough. There's no easy route when it's either you go to Jesus of Nazareth, where he's just jacked up and high, just slice it into the back of your head. You get Propecia, where it cuts off your dick, or you get a hairpiece, where someone could just pull it off at a bar. I mean, there's no easy answer.
Well, let me tell you this:
if you shave the head off,
if you get a hairpiece, you get a hairpiece with the glue that they have today, if it's fresh, they'll pull off your skin before the hairpiece comes off.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
But with that said, what you just said is very important. There is no easy route. Yeah. Any commercial that you see, any infomercial, anything that you see online, get your hair back. What are you waiting for? It's all bullshit. There's no easy route. If you go down this route, like I say all the time, you have to be committed, no matter what it is, because it is not just, I'm going to the hair club and getting my hair back. It doesn't work that way. It is a pain in the fucking ass for the rest of your life, whether you are on finasteride, whether you get a hair transplant, or whether you get a hairpiece. There is no perfect solution.
That's true. I mean, even if you go to the best like Joe did, you go to the best and you get multiple hair transplants, which you did a great job. Both your hair looks great, but you still have to take Propecia even after a hair transplant. That's what kind of turned me off by the whole thing. It's like,
not only do you have to take Propecia, I take Propecia, or I take Proscar. I fucking paint my head like nobody's business. The amount of hairspray that I have to use just to get on this fucking camera is It's insane. Okay, I actually wear. This is not a joke. I should. I'll bring it out for you guys in a second, and I'll put the camera on Joe. I wear a breathing mask in the bathroom because I put so much hairspray on because I don't want to get lung cancer.
So this man is willing to risk lung cancer.
Well, I'm not willing to risk
for his hair.
Hold on I'm talk to Joe for 1 second.
Joe.
Yes. Anyway, I wanted to say you guys. Well, hang on. You guys were in your discussion, so I didn't want to interrupt. But I will say this for you and everyone listening. I was actually on the phone with a friend of mine that's a consultant, or used to be a consultant in the industry, and he called me up and he said, I listened to one of your shows recently and I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around something you said. I'm like, what's that? He said, you would actually tell someone to get a wig before you tell them to get a hair transplant? And I said, you fucking ain't right, I would. Because it goes along with a theme that I've been pushing for several years now, and what Spencer's always talked about. Surgery is the last resort. And if you can try every non-surgical alternative out there, whether it be lasers, PRP, wigs, shoe polish, whatever, then try it. Because once you're cut, you're cut. You can't go back once that first cut's made.
So you guys think I'm fucking around, right?
This guy, it's like
pink.
a painter's mask. What is that? That's like
dude, this is it's a fucking 3M. What are these called? These are
It's a painter's mask. Yeah.
It's beyond a
respirator. It's a respirator.
It's a respirator. This is a fucking respirator.
mask, yeah.
Okay, so I spray my hair. Okay, and I put this on so that I could stay in the fucking bathroom without breathing in hairspray.
And there's probably a lot of hairspray.
So if you don't think that I'm for real, there you go.
you guys are hardcore.
We are hardcore, man.
Yeah, you guys don't mess around.
9 hair transplants and a respirator. What else do you want?
Now, I do have one last question. The question is okay, so say 6 months down the road, my TRT's continuing to go wonderfully, and I'm okay with taking a little bit of Propecia because my TRT's balanced. I'm under the monitor of a doctor. It's safer this way to take Propecia in my eyes. My question is could Propecia bring back my vertex or my crown?
Well, it depends on how much hair is remaining. Because if you got a lot of vellus hairs, then it can bring it back, cosmetically to an appreciable level. But it's just too much of a wide variation of possibilities to give you a solid answer.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it could work wonders for you. It could be a miracle worker for you. I've seen some incredible transformations with just a quarter tablet of Proscar every other day, not even every day. I've seen some guys taking 5 milligrams of Proscar, the full tablet, and they get jack shit, and it's a waste of money.
I remember the first time I actually saw a guy. He went into Bill Rassman, who is still around. He's still in the industry, and this guy has been a pioneer in this field as far as follicular unit transplantation is concerned. He showed me a case, and this was years ago, pretty early on in my career, where a guy came in for a hair transplant, but he was a little short on cash. And this is when finasteride kind of just was on the market. He said, try this pill, give it a shot. And this guy was probably a Norwood 5. He grew, I've never seen such growth in my life, probably to a Norwood 2 with a full crown. Now, I've never seen this since, but what I'm trying to say is that is possible. It's rare. It's the only time I've ever seen it.
But never say never.
But never say never, because this guy ended up taking this drug, did not need a hair transplant after that, and was thrilled. Now, for all I know, he could be dead now. I don't know. But you know what? His hair looked good.
His hair looked good in the casket.
Yeah.
It's something I may revisit after 5 or 6 months and, reconsider after I'm balanced and my levels are up and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to rule anything out. That's for sure.
Well, listen, man, we always appreciate the call. I'm glad you're doing well on TRT therapy, and I have to tell you that I'm a little jealous.
It sounds like it's it almost sounds tempting.
I'm a little. I was actually.
This is my suggestion. Take one injection. The one injection is not going to kill you. It's not going to kill any hairs, and see if your mental acuity improves. You feel.
What are you saying?
Of any kind of symptoms.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is you could tell after one injection.
Yeah.
You could tell after one, and this is how you can tell if you're having any symptoms and how much, difference it does make in your quality of life,
Here's my problem. This is my problem. I have an addictive personality. Now, I've never been addicted to anything except when I was younger. I guess I was addicted to cigarettes, but that's why I don't like to have benzos around or pills or whatever it is, because I'll just fucking pop them. If someone brings, marijuana is legal here in California now. Someone brings a vape pen, that shit's going to be gone. I don't want it around. So I know.
Spencer, everybody's doing it. All your colleagues are doing it. I mean, all the
cool kids are
doing it.
all
the cool kids.
All the cool kids are doing it.
But here's the thing. If I take that injection and I end up like seeing a change in my body. I'll give you an example. I went down, I worked out, and I went to the lap pool. Took off my shirt, go to the pool, took a look at myself in the mirror. I was pumped, so I looked pretty good. But there was still this, weird, love handle thing that just fucks me up. That I know that if I took this injection, that went away, that's it, I'd be hooked. And then I'd be the one showing you the wig that I just ordered.
In a year, he'd be on camera going, "See, I told you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
This looks good."
That might be the better move. TRT in a wig versus Propecia. I think that might be the move.
Well,
TRT in a wig.
The truth is, when I'm older, that may actually be the move. That may be something that I would consider for sure. Honestly.
Or TRT in a razor.
And I couldn't pull it off, dude.
You keep the goat, then you might be able to.
Well, it's definitely a hot topic right now among men in general of all ages. And that's for sure. And so is Propecia.
Well, here's the thing.
Real hot topics.
By the time I shave my head, I think the mustache would be gray too. So maybe it would look better. Maybe it would kind of look like I'd look like some sort of
you could do
evil
Propecia
scientist.
at the same time.
Like a Jesse Ventura type of deal?
Yeah.
You could do Propecia at the same time. So you're okay. You're covered. As long as your DHT is, is still, probably crushed by 80%, you should be fine.
This fucking dude's like a pusher, man. He's talking me into taking these drugs.
I know, I'm telling you. Yeah.
All right, dude, listen, we're going to take some more phone calls. Good luck, and appreciate the update.
Thank you so much.
You got it,
Thanks
man.
for calling.
Appreciate it. Great conversation. Thank you so much.
As always, take care.
You too. Bye.
That's $10, man, right there.
I'm telling you.
888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Give us a call. Let's see who this is. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys, it's Warren from Hawaii.
Hey, Warren, what's happening?
How you guys doing?
Did you see
buddy.
Did you see my respirator?
No, I didn't see a respirator.
This is my hairspray respirator.
Right now, Warren probably has one of his own because of the toxic fumes from the volcano.
Dude, that's right. I actually lived through 9/11. Did not wear one of these. But now, because I feel like I'm in my 50s and still using hairspray, that I need to wear this shit. There's something wrong with
I like the pink masculine color. I love the color.
Hey, listen, dude.
Perfect.
I could deal with that. I am comfortable with my sexuality.
Me too. I rock the pink polo shirts. Chicks dig it.
Dude,
so's your boyfriend. Anyway.
Yeah. Why don't you wake him up and ask him what he thinks about your pink shirt?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was thinking it was really interesting, the guy calling before, because I'm on TRT myself as well the past maybe 6 years now. And I'm 43, and it's amazing, like I'm not going to waste your time saying the same thing he did, but it makes you feel like you're 20 again.
Jesus
and I've been
Christ,
on,
it's like I know you guys are going to make me take this.
I'm telling you.
I'm ready.
No. I was just, well, it's really great, but I've been taking, you know, I'm on my 8th month after my FUE surgery, and still praying that things picking up a little bit, still looking good, but the question I have is, the doctor that I'm seeing for my TRT, he's a great guy, solid, very thorough, excellent. He recently recommended to me, and I found it a little odd. Once he found out, he never knew I had a hair transplant surgery. I guess he thought I was shaving my head and grew it out. But once he found that out, he told me that I should, you know, I told him I'm taking Propecia. I'm on generic, which has been working for me, oddly enough, but 1 milligram a day. But he told me that he recommends I take the ProScar 5 milligrams every day. And then I was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on now. That sounds like it might be a little too much. But he's like, no, I do it. He says he takes it every day, and he prescribes 5 milligrams to his patients who are on TRT every day. So I wanted to call in and ask you guys, doesn't that sound a little excessive? Or
well, you know
what I mean?
Here's what's interesting. If you think you're doing okay right now on finasteride, and again, you've had a hair transplant,
right?
You're not having any adverse side effects that you're aware of, right, on finasteride. If you think that it's holding what's left of your donor in your sides and your temporal regions, then that's a positive thing. He may be prescribing the 5 milligrams to combat any possible hair loss caused by the TRT therapy.
Right.
So if you're not seeing any extra hair loss while you're on TRT, if you don't think that TRT exacerbated your hair loss, then I would say, and again, I'm not a physician, there's probably no reason to up your dosage. Now, I would understand his point. Like if I was to get on TRT right now, because I've been on 5 milligrams a day in my life. I've been on 7.5 milligrams a day in my life. Never had any adverse side effects, but I was also like 20-something years old when I was on that high of a dosage.
Right.
I dropped it all the way down over the years to intermittent therapy of 1 5 milligram dose once a week, and it's been able to maintain my hair. But if I do jump on TRT therapy, which looks like it's going to fucking happen after this show, then it's possible that I would take that advice. But since you've already been on it, you've already had your hair transplants, and unless you are significantly progressing and you think it's because of TRT, then I don't see a reason to do it. I don't think you're going to all of a sudden take 5 milligrams and then see all this hair growth. But I could be wrong, and I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Joe, I know you're not listening, but what do you think?
I just thought
Exactly what you said.
What do you think, Joe? Okay.
I was engaging guys online.
Oh no, I just
Joe, is that your baby in the background? I didn't know you had a kid, Joe.
No, that's my twins in the background. Yep.
Very cool.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right.
No, listen, I'm just glad it's you and not Joe. That's all, because Joe's got to work.
Yeah. But I was just saying, I thought it was interesting because he said that since I've been on the 1 milligram for so long and without any side effects or sexual side effects or anything like that, he tells me I shouldn't worry if I take the 5 milligram. It won't. He thinks from his experience that I should try to up it to that. So he was saying I won't feel the side effects if it goes up. So I was kind of like, you know.
I think that for anyone to say that as an absolute is being careless. I don't think that anyone should say that. Oh, if you multiply your dosage by a factor of 5, which is what you're essentially doing, no problems.
Right.
I don't think that's safe to say. In fact, I would caution you only in the arena of, if you were to up your dosage to 5 milligrams a day, I would advise you that if you consider that, to make sure that you never ever go back to 1 milligram because you think, I don't feel any difference, or it's not doing any more benefit for me. Because I've seen multiple people. I've talked about this on the show before. I've seen multiple people that did up their dosage to 5 milligrams, or they were taking 5 milligrams from the start, and their doctor said, "Oh, you know what? Go back to 1 milligram. You're fine. There's no difference in dosage," and they lost all their hair, like within a matter of 4 to 6 months. Just bad idea, bad idea.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't go to 5 milligrams. I'm saying, if you want to consider it, experiment with it. I would say maybe up your dosage. Do you take it every day, 1 milligram?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would say maybe if you want to try 5 milligrams, try it twice a week for a month, just to see if you feel any difference.
That's reasonable.
But still understand that that might not be a definitive indicator of what it would be like long term. The difference between 1 and 5 milligrams. So I feel like if you're fine with 1 milligram, fuck it, don't even consider it. But if you want to consider it, do so with extreme caution.
And as a disclaimer, Joe Tillman is not a physician, and the Bald Truth does not provide medical advice.
Right.
What he said.
But that sounds good. And then what was I going to say? Well, yeah. The last funny question is, is this considered normal shedding? Because I haven't lost any hair from what I've seen, but when I, maybe like once or twice a week, when I take a shower, 1 or 2 hairs fall out. Is that normal after this stage in 8 months, or is that something I should not worry about? Or it's like just 1 or 2 hairs, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's fine. There's nothing unusual about that. I see a couple of hairs. I see maybe 2 hairs in the shower, but of course, it's nothing.
Dude, I comb every time I comb my hair. I mean, I look at the comb. Sometimes there's 10 hairs or 6 hairs or 4 hairs, or I've been dealing with that my entire hair loss career. To me, that's nothing. It's when they were 70 hairs, and when like your entire comb was full of hair. That's what was frightening. I had to take a screenshot of the guy saying that he eats more soy in a week than most people in a year, and he still shoots just fine.
Yeah.
That
was a response to my comment where I said, what did I say? I said, they're talking about eating soy. I said, soy is the devil's bitch. And I said, bad stuff if you want to shoot ropes, quote unquote.
I am saving that. Apparently he's shooting ropes just fine.
Yeah.
And I said, just imagine how much more you'd shoot if you weren't eating soy.
Hold on, what'd you say, man?
Yeah. I said he ain't going to be shooting no ropes with soy. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not shooting any ropes. Joe wants to see evidence, apparently. That's what he wrote me privately.
Oh, shut up. Yeah. Only while he was wearing the pink respirator.
Jesus Christ, I'll change it to blue.
It. No, leave
to match our shirts.
Dude, I like the pink and the gray color. I just, love it. Anyway, guys.
Good. Hey, thanks for you guys' advice, man.
Listen, good luck. And by the way, so how are you feeling about your hair transplant now?
It looks like how last time when I spoke with you guys, I found that length that I'm comfortable with. Which is about maybe like 2.5 inches on top, and I just put a little hair wax in it and sprinkle the topic in my bald spot, and I'm good to go.
All right, man.
I'm pretty happy with it. Not one day goes by without somebody saying how good I look and how young I look, and so I'm happy.
Good for you, man. And how are things with the volcano and everything? Are you okay?
Yeah, on my side, our island, Oahu, we're good. Just a bunch of my friends had to move out of their houses on the Big Island.
Oh, that's heavy,
scary
man.
stuff.
That is scary. Well, listen, if I'm ever in your neck of the woods and I get pulled over for drunk driving, what do I do? I just say your name, or how does that work?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Tom Sergeant Warren is your buddy.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right, listen, thanks for the call.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye. 888-659-3727. I would never drink and drive. It was just a joke, people. Please don't write me about that.
Might hit a bump and spill my drink.
Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Spencer, this is Vick from BC.
Hey, Vic, what's happening?
Vic.
Holy shit.
Hey, man, good to hear you guys again, man.
Good to hear from
been
you.
Out of it. Yeah, same, man. I just been working so much, it's just haven't really gotten time to tune in and catch a show. I just, how you guys doing, man? I caught the last half an hour. There's been a lot of talk about testosterone or something, just like TRT or something.
Yeah, you know, all these guys are trying to get me on TRT replacement. I don't know if it's a hint. I don't know if it's like Joe is trying to push that and he's telling these guys secretly or whatever it is. No, I mean, these guys are, it's a big subject, and a lot of people are starting to gravitate towards testosterone replacement. I think partially because of all of the direct-to-consumer advertising about low T, and also there's a huge market that insurance doesn't cover. So it's a way for physicians to get involved, just like cosmetic surgery, in something that they can get a cash payment for. But with that said, it does help a lot of people.
I've heard about that. No, it was interesting because I was hearing some of the stuff on and off, but for the last half an hour. But I can tell you this much: I remember, didn't you say that you were really, really jacked when you were growing up? I mean, it still are to some degree, right?
Well, not when I was growing. Yeah, when I was like, I would say, like 18, 17 to, I don't know, 26, something like that, 24. And then I kind of let shit go, and then I got back into shape in my early 30s, and then I really let things go. And so it's like there's a base there, but I'm 53 years old now. Now I'm just trying to somehow look okay and feel good, you know.
I hear you. No, I just wanted to tune in and let you know. I mean, the whole testosterone replacement thing. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and I don't know about what the side effects could be or what they are. But I do know this. I know that high intensity training, you're going to release enough testosterone to, have a very healthy, if not a high level of testosterone going through your body. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
if you're doing high intensity stuff and also like really heavy weight loaded stuff, like full body stuff, like squatting, for instance, you're absolutely going to produce more human growth hormone and more testosterone. There's fear in the hair loss community that training to at that level will exacerbate or even hasten the hair loss process for some people. There's no proof that that's the case. Theoretically, I guess it is. But yeah, I agree with you. If you work out to that level, you're absolutely going to increase not only your free-flowing testosterone, but your human growth hormone output as well. I personally believe that once you start to utilize synthetics, you depending on how much you use and how often you use and how long you use it, you stop producing your own testosterone. If you take
you're right.
Yeah, if you take
your balls are going to stop if they see that something else is coming in through your bloodstream. Why do they? That's why bodybuilders, as soon as they get off a cycle, they need to start taking TRT again.
Well, they could either, or it depends. There are guys, especially young guys. You can experiment with steroids, and I'm not saying that anyone should, but athletes, young guys in high school, you could do 2 cycles, 3 cycles, 4 cycles, and you're young enough, your testosterone will begin to start producing normally again after a while on its own, without any supplementation. However, that's probably not going to be the case if you're over 40. That's not. Go ahead.
I can tell you one thing, Spencer. I'm looking at the live stream. You don't look 53, brother. You look like you're at most pushing mid-40s. You don't look 53. I'm not a doctor. I would never tell you how to live your life, what to do. For me, I just don't think you need TRT. You look really good, man.
No, I appreciate that. My hair is a lot grayer, but otherwise, this is how I look. So
and the video does represent, like you said, the hair color not quite, because it makes it look a bit darker than it is in face to face. But he does look this young Like his skin, it's got wonderful skin. It's marvelous.
Thank you so much.
It's fabulous. I gotta say, but no, he does look this young in real life.
Well, that's nice. That's nice to hear, and I appreciate that. And it's not about, again, for me, it wouldn't be about looking young. It would be about if I wanted to really get back into training, and also, if I want to start, banging around with young chicks again. Just kidding, by the way. Anyone, common law, anyone who's listening, but I mean, listen, we all have a level of vanity, which actually I think is healthy. But I also don't want to put myself into any jeopardy. So this particular caller has had issues. TRT therapy changed his life for the better. I think that it could really benefit a lot of people who need it. But most guys who use it, at least the guys in my neighborhood, the guys who are now in this new building where I have the second studio, I see a lot of not to sound obnoxious, but there's a lot of wealthy businessmen that have businesses here, and they look ultra young. They're LA, super tan, and all that stuff, and they're all taking this shit. And you could see it, the vascularity when they're wearing short sleeves. It's unnatural for people our age, but they fucking look good. But who knows? They could drop dead in a year. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? I used to work out a ton. I don't do much anymore with some body weight stuff, but I can tell you this: you definitely know if you've been training for long enough, you've been in the gym long enough, you know when someone's on some sort of hormone versus just like your creatine or stuff you can get at GNC. You can definitely tell when it starts getting to size and the definition wise. There's a big difference between stuff you can get at your local GNC and actual.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, David, I'm a hair magician, motherfucker. So there you go.
I saw that.
Yeah. Gotta laugh at people to the best. How old are you now, Vic?
I'm pushing 35.
You're a fucking kid. All right. So before you go, and I think it's important because we have a whole shitload of new listeners.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you can tell people a little bit about your story and how you found us and what you decided to do based on finding the show.
Absolutely, I will. It was back in about 2011 or 12. I was going through a huge midlife crisis, and
wait a second, 2011 already? That long ago? I cannot believe how fast time flies.
I started listening to you a while back. I mean, and honestly, I can tell you this. As a hair loss sufferer, and Joe knows this, Specs knows this, Spencer knows this, you can't really turn to the average person who doesn't know what you're going through. You can't turn to them. Sometimes you can't gain any sympathy from anyone. That toughens you up a bit. But the great thing is when I was I was about to pull the trigger on getting a hair transplant. One last thing I did was I did a little bit of Google research. I think Spencer's website came up as one of the first or second hits. I listened to his show, and finally, after a few episodes, I called him. It was that show where Spencer, and I believe Specs was on that show too. They literally talked me out of it. I was about to get a hair transplant, and I was just not the right candidate. I wasn't. It was everything about my hair characteristics, my genetics, everything. I was just not the right, and I could have spent thousands of dollars. Spencer helped me save that money. I put that towards higher education, and not only that, but he talked me out of taking Propecia or finasteride. And so two things. He saved me money on a transplant. He saved me money on drugs like Propecia and finasteride. And my life has just gone uphill ever since.
First of all, I appreciate you telling everyone your story because it's important for guys to know that you came out the other side, that there is life after hair loss, even if you choose not to do anything. Mm-hmm. And the reason you were talked out of finasteride, and this is what it kills me when I read shit sometimes about people saying that we are Merc shills or we're trying to sell people on poisonous drugs. Everything that you described to me basically just screamed that you were definitely not a candidate for a hair transplant, and that you should shave your head or keep it very close. That you forget about it. Just move on with your life. Finasteride would have had minimal results. Possible downside of it could have, affected your life adversely. For the very slim chance of you seeing anything positive from it. You did not have the hair characteristics, the density, or the amount of hair. You wanted FUE, and if I remember correctly, you wanted it because you were led to believe that you could just, if things didn't work out, you could shave your head.
Yeah. Right.
And you would be fine.
Right. Right. And then when I looked on your forums deeply, I saw that you do get those white dot scars. And not only that, but it's just everything. It was
if I remember, I think you're Brazilian, or you have dark skin characteristics.
Yes, sir,
right?
Brazilian. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And just for the young viewers on the show, look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. This is not, but I can tell you this much. This is the one place where you can safely say whatever you want, and you have people like Spencer and Joe who are, they pretty much, when it comes to hair loss, they have a PhD, so they know as much, if not more, than hair loss doctors. So, and not only that, they're not trying to sell you hair. They're not trying to sell you Propecia. They're not trying to sell you hair transplants. They're not trying to sell you anything. So you have a safe place to come, do your research, and then make an educated decision based off of your research. Do your due diligence, and then make your decision. And whatever you think's right for you, go for it. But I can tell you this much: as soon as I stopped and I got those clippers and I just started cutting off all my hair, I started working out. No medication, nothing. I can tell you, life gets better, and people respond to the way you feel. They don't respond to the way you look. Get that through your head. For the young guys out there, people respond to the way you feel and the way you treat them, not the way you look.
Dude, you're fucking inspiring me now.
Telling you.
I got a bunch of guys putting me on TRT, and you're telling me no one cares about the way I look.
No, he's saying stop taking Propecia.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to pry that out of my dead cold hands.
Well, I can tell you this much, Spencer. I would never tell you what to do, but I'm telling the young cats out there that before you make any decisions that are life-altering, stop and remember people are going to respond to you about the way you make them feel and how you feel about yourself. If you respect yourself and you treat other people with respect and kindness, that's what's going to come back to you 1,000-fold. So you guys have to do whatever you want. Spencer's changed my life for the 100 times better, and I will always respect this man.
Dude, I'll drink to that. Thank you so much. That makes me feel really good about what I do. And, I say this all the time, and this was actually the year that I had planned to retire. I was going to write something on Facebook about this because there was a physician who asked me a question that I still have not responded to. I have planned my entire career, and I am kind of sick this way with the way that I plan things, but I had to put away a certain amount, invest a certain amount, do certain things in order to be able to retire at a certain age. And I have been fortunate enough to kind of exceed that expectation, meaning that I could stop doing this before I planned on stopping to do it. But because of the way the market is, because of when I hear people like you call the show and say how important it was and how it changed your life, it makes me want to continue to do what I do. Also, there's so much money that's going to be left on the table anyway that, and I'm being honest, that, why should I leave it? Why should I leave it there? I mean, this industry is worse than ever. telling the truth is going to be a commodity that is more valuable than anything else in this field. And it's becoming more valuable by the minute as this field evolves.
That's the thing. There's less and less truth out there with all the additional information that we're being bombarded with on a daily basis.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, to hear what he's saying about the influence that you had on him. First off, there's some great sound bites in there for future intros. So thanks for that, Vince. But no, I mean it is encouraging and inspiring to hear this from you, and how it's impacted your journey, I guess you could say. And yeah, I can vouch for it. I mean, obviously, because I'm working with a guy, trying to push the same message. So,
well, Vic, listen,
good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really glad. You sound great.
Thing, Spencer,
Go ahead.
I just want to say, Joe, I know I gave Spencer a lot of compliments, but you look really good too, man.
Oh, he looks fucking great.
Thanks.
Look at that hair, though, man. That is 100% transplanted hair. Even his
it's beautiful. No one can tell. No
Dude,
one can tell.
Show me your
No
temple
one can
points.
tell.
Show me your temple points. No, just turn to your right.
I gotta get close. Here we go.
Those are rebuilt.
From here, wait, from here, there, all that forward is transplant.
That's unfucking believable. That is a work of art.
It looks like what you were born with. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
When you see some of the temple points that are reconstructed online, you see the angles and the hairs that are chosen to be put in the temple. They look like such shit, even from some of the better doctors.
And that's the dead giveaway with modern, in 2018, modern as they call them now, hair transplants. And that's the first thing I look at to see if the temple points were reconstructed. And usually, nowadays, it's a hell of a lot easier to see it today than it was 10 years ago, because they're usually looking like they're trying to fly away, south for the winter, because the hairs are sticking out like this, like wings.
Dude, some of these YouTubers that I see, and again, I want to make it clear that I think that the guys that are out there who are trying to get the word out or their word out, most of these guys are probably really good guys, and I can tell that they are good guys. And that they.
Spencer, also, thank you for the episode where you talked some people out of SMP. That was crossing my mind at one point too. Thank you for that as well. I did the further research.
I remember that. Yeah.
If it's permanent, it can really screw up someone's life. So thank you for that as well.
Oh, you got it, dude. You listen. I took a lot of flack for still not being a fan of it, and. There are doctors, some of them are in the IAHRS, who are believers of SMP. Most of them who are in the IAHRS they're doing trichopigmentation, and they, which is the temporary type of SMP, and they're usually utilizing it as underground or for scar repair, things like that, which is great. It could be very beneficial for people. But as a hair loss solution, the way that it's being promoted, look, it's just my opinion. Who the fuck am I? But I can tell you that I've seen so many guys who I believe they're totally fucked up.
Yeah.
Forget about my aesthetics, thinking that I think it looks like shit. That doesn't even count. These people who've had it done believe they look like shit. That's what matters.
Yeah. There's a well-known YouTuber. I don't know him personally, but he's got like 6 million followers, and he went and had SMP.
Yeah.
And it looks like someone literally took what's it called, shoe polish.
He's very healthy about it all. That's a healthy. That guy has a healthy attitude about everything.
Absolutely.
Fauci tube or whatever, but
I think so.
That may be it. Yeah, guy's got a fucking healthy attitude about that shit. Other guys would be suicidal. He just said, you know what? I fucked up. I'm going to get it fixed and talk about it. And I admire that. But yeah, listen, Vic, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for the phone call. It's great to hear from you. I know that you're busy with your life, and I'm really glad. So, I mean, when you have time to call in, call in.
Thank you, sir. You and Joe have a great night tonight.
All right. You take care.
Thanks for calling, buddy. Good hearing from you.
Be well.
Thank you. Bye.
888-659-3727. Yeah. So what I was going to say something about. I mean, I think that all these guys have a lot of these guys have good intentions. I watched a video recently, another video, where at the end of this video, this pretty well-known YouTuber who talks a lot about hair loss. He's also into bodybuilding. Got a fucking fantastic physique. This guy is fucking jacked. He's giving advice about what to do and not to shampoo your hair every day and not to use certain products and all the stuff that we know does not damage or does not cause hair loss. Hair loss, is essentially, there's obviously several forms of hair loss, but in general, hair loss all happens underneath your scalp. The manufacturing process of your hair is under the scalp. So shampoos and different things that cannot penetrate the scalp and damage your hair follicle will not affect the growth of your hair. And that's something like blow drying, things of that nature, over blow drying. You may damage the cuticle, make your hair look fried. You can cause breakage from certain chemicals that you put on your hair, things of that nature. But this keratin is dead.
Yeah, it's already dead.
Yeah, it cannot be damaged. The keratin itself can be damaged, but the follicle cannot be damaged unless there is some sort of a physical trauma or mechanical trauma or a chemical trauma that goes below the scalp.
Yeah.
That's it. So you can blow dry to your fucking heart's content. You could wear as much mousse and wax and hairspray or whatever you want to do. Your hair, you can have...
Spencer, it clogs the pores so the hairs can't breathe.
Exactly. You can have... Look at these homeless guys. You can have... You could actually have cement. I'm not even joking. On your scalp for 4 months. A block of cement. Now, it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's probably going to cause some other skin and inflammatory issues.
Yeah.
But it will not stop the hair growth process.
No. Doesn't work that way.
Sebum buildup does not stop the hair loss process.
That's one of the oldest tricks in these non-surgical hair loss clinics. They'll sit you down, they'll pluck a hair, and they'll stick it under a projector microscope and they'll throw the image up on the wall, and they'll show you the bulb of the hair and say, see that little round thing? That's sebum build up.
Exactly.
And we got just the thing to help you.
Right.
$2,000.
And that is what trichology used to be about. I have to, kind of like Bosley, Bosley has come a long way. The trichology in general has come a long way. And I think one person who I think deserves some credit is Alan Bauman, who actually is training trichologists and people who want to be trichologists in the real study of hair loss treatment and prevention, and what can actually be done for treating hair loss.
Yeah.
That was never done before. The main trichology associations and trichologists out there, in my view, I used to say this all the time, it was just the study of bullshit, in my opinion. And I will give a few people credit. That's changing. So I think now if someone considers themselves or calls themselves a trichologist, what you have to do is just see where they studied and what they've studied. And it's possible they can help you, meaning they can guide you in the right direction. They can work with the right physicians to prescribe the right medication. They can give you legitimate advice as opposed to just plucking your hair, looking at it under a microscope, and putting together their own fucked up tinctures.
Where do you go to trichology? Is there a trichology school?
There are academies. There are schools.
Is it like an online thing? Is it?
They actually have some.
Is there a course at DeVry?
There were mail order things when I was younger. There's probably some online stuff. I would like to, and I've been talking about doing this, and we probably will really create something that's a lot more legitimate, so that people who do call themselves trichologists can actually understand the study of and learn about the study of hair loss, and really study the causes of hair loss and what the real treatments are.
See, here we are with the damn with the venereal diseases, USTI, U.S. Trichology Institute.
Right.
Not a good name, guys.
Not good.
Not good.
Doesn't work. I was actually, you know what? And I feel if you are watching, there was a trichologist who contacted me who asked if I would do a webinar for her listeners or followers or people in her group. I have not gotten back to this person yet, and I feel bad about that. I have so many people that contact me through Facebook or through Twitter or through other resources, through all of our websites. Sometimes I cannot make that commitment or get back to somebody right away. So I apologize. She probably thinks I'm a fucking jerk. What am I going to do?
Was that a pause for me to interject?
You could say...
No, you're not a jerk.
Hey, you're a good guy. All right, boys, listen, we are going to call it a night. Wow, right on the dot.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to call in. We will probably do another show this week. Are we thinking Friday or Saturday?
Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, let's make that happen. Joe's website, hairtransplantmentor.com. You can check out Joe's images, Joe's journey, Joe's, 2 fucked up hair transplants to where he is now. This is a guy who's been in the trenches. So I always think that just taking the time to look at where he came from to where he is now is fucking mind-blowing. I showed my buddy who's staying here for a couple of weeks, and he's like, so that's what happened to him.
That's why he is the way he is.
No, but he was like, wow, that is really impressive that you came from that. So there is life after hair loss. Whether you decide to do something like taking medication, getting a hair transplant, wearing a hairpiece, or doing what Vick decided to do, which is nothing. Shave his head, cut it close, move on with his life, use the money they would have spent for a hair transplant for his higher education and improving his earning potential and self-worth and everything by working out and getting himself educated. I mean, there are ways to get past this. Sadly, our friend Joe from Staten Island, who no longer calls, he was on the other end of that spectrum.
Paralyzed.
Right, paralyzed by this. I am somewhere in the middle.
Do we want to make the announcement about the new segment coming up?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So last show, I think it was Friday, we had a caller who asked us to we kind of named the segment based on this, to rate his hair transplant. And so we started brainstorming, liked the idea of that. And so potentially this coming episode, if we can get some callers, we're going to have Rate My Hair Transplant as a segment of Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth with Joe Tillman. And people will be calling in. The photos will already be on file. And we may, I don't know, Spencer, if we got the technical side of this worked out, but we may be able to have them on camera, or at least their images on camera. And we're going to rate their hair transplant live on The Bald Truth.
Yeah. If you want your images to be, out there for public consumption, then please make sure you crop your face. I'm not going to take the time to crop anything.
Right.
Or if you're fine with having your image out there, then that's great. When you write Joe, when you send in the images, just provide that information. You're giving us permission to critique and to rate your hair transplant. You're giving us permission to use these images on the broadcast, both live and on the podcast in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
And
very important, you have to understand that if you want us to rate your hair transplant, we're actually going to rate your hair transplant. We're not going to, kiss your ass. We're not going to tell you something that you want to hear versus what you should hear. We're going to tell you the truth. And we're going to do it in a way that, we're not going to be assholes about it, but we're going to be honest about it.
And we're going to ask everyone in the chat to just reserve their commentary. If the pictures are out there and they're put out, these guys have just gone through something. They have spent a lot of time, a lot of money. It's an emotional roller coaster. They don't need the peanut gallery saying, hey, they look like shit.
Yeah.
If that's the case. That is what I have always disliked about the message forum world. And frankly, that is, we really try to curb that. If someone takes the time to put up their images and then some anonymous guy says you look like shit, that doesn't stay up there. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I went to Dr. So-and-so, here's my transplant, and somebody says that looks like shit. Or if a physician posts someone's pictures with their permission and someone says that looks like shit, sorry, no bueno. These guys have signed off on having their hair transplant being highlighted, displayed,
shared,
because they're happy with it.
Yeah.
Period. So, keep that shit to yourself. And I don't mean to sound like an asshole. I just want people just to have some, we're a community here. We're supposed to be helping each other, encouraging each other. The information that we're going to be providing these patients is going to be for their best interest, not just to critique the doctor who did the surgery and, the hair transplant in a, what's the word that I'm looking for? In a gratuitous way.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, okay, well, just like we did the other week. Asked if the guy was a smoker. Said that there was some bleeding. It looks like there was some swelling. That looked
a little bit of excessive bruising. And
bruising, I mean. That looked a little bit excessive and a little bit, long-lasting.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. What are our thoughts on the potential future? We don't have a crystal ball, but just judging on the work itself, what we think the outcome may or may not be.
And the critique will have nothing to do with our, any opinions about any people involved. It won't have any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Exaggeration of, what may have happened if it's not such a great outcome. We will simply look at it. I'll use my surgical experience. Spencer will use his experience of dealing with thousands of patients himself, and we'll give you our honest opinion on the result and answer any questions that you may have about it if we can. This will be our opinion based on our experience, and it will be solely to help educate others. And you got to be okay with it as the patient sending your photos in to be critiqued.
There you go. Websites, thebaldtruth.com for archives of this broadcast. Also, check out the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. That is IAHRS.org. If you are considering surgical hair restoration or hair transplant surgery, check out the IAHRS. Honestly, it is in my view, really the safest place to start to do your research. Don't just pick a name off a fucking list. It's just a starting point.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. American Hair Loss Association. That's AmericanHairLoss.org. Our message forum, baldtruthtalk.com. If you want to interact with other hair loss sufferers, check out our Bald Truth Talk message forum. Remember, a lot of anonymous bullshit on all message forums. We try to moderate it as best as we can. But take everything you read on a message forum with a grain of salt, unless you know for sure where that information is coming from. Also, guys from Queens.com, and want to thank HairLossExperiences.com for streaming this broadcast live. Hair Loss Experiences is just a friend of the Bald Truth, a great message forum, basically a UK-based message forum for hair transplant surgery. Joe, you might want to explain it a little bit more.
Well, it's simple. It's run by someone in the UK. It does have a UK focus, but being the interwebs, it is accessible to anyone and everyone worldwide that wants to see information you might not see on a couple of other forums, because every forum is different in its own unique, special way. Great guys over there, and we appreciate them for allowing us to stream live through their website. That's hairlossexperiences.com.
I'll tell you one thing that's unique about that forum. There's no moderators on there that are basically controlling or trying to drive the flow of information, or harming people's reputations, or bashing patients. And
there's no lead system.
There's no lead system. Exactly. It's a place run by a normal dude. And that is hard.
Has had his own repair case himself.
Right. And that is hard to find in this fucked up industry. So I have a lot of respect for what he does. Until next time, guys, be strong. God bless. And thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who! Who do I trust? Me!
I always hear a lot of guys calling in, and they're always like,
that's why you have to guys